and to the wider world.
Kevin Connolly there. Still, events in Egypt are being watched very closely in many Arab countries. Let's look a little bit more into this. I'm joined again now by Nabila Ramdani, a journalist and commentator on Arab world affairs. What do you make of Ehud Barak's comments?
I think Israel doesn't have any legitimate reasons to worry about the future of Egypt. Just like Israel, the Egyptians are entitled to have a democratic regime. They're entitled to basic fundamental rights that we take for granted in so many countries around the world. It's not in Israel's interests are not a good reason enough to stop a dictator from stepping down.
Now, I know you were in Egypt back in December, and you could feel the ripple effect of the protests we saw in Tunisia. Well, the protests in Egypt are certainly causing ripples around the world. I think in Algeria we have a demonstration planned for Saturday. Bahrain, there have been protests. What's the impact of this going to be as we see the effect in countries like Algeria and Bahrain?
Well, the Tunisian model certainly inspired different waves of demonstrations across the Arab world, not least of all in Egypt, as the situation is very critical now. But in the rest of the region, as you pointed out, in Algeria, in Saturday, massive demonstrations are expected in an attempt to see the state of emergency, which has been imposed in the early 1990s during the civil war, lifted. Preemptive measures have been introduced by despots across the region. In Jordan, for example, the prime minister has been sacked. People are clearly demanding socio-economic changes and deeper political reforms. So all the tokenistic gestures that we've seen put in place by dictators across the regions are not good enough.
Could it happen as quickly as it appears to be happening in Egypt? And I'm talking about a change in the form of governance in the region.
It is very hard to tell how the Egyptian situation is going to impact specifically on all these countries. They have their own specificities. Mubarak is loathed in Egypt. But in some countries, for example in Jordan, the Jordanians they don't have any hatred for their rulers. They just want to see real changes on the ground. They want a better life, but they don't necessarily want to get rid of them.
We're watching closely. We'll be keeping a close eye on the region. Nabila Ramdani, thank you very much.
Pleasure.